Well, hello. It has been a long time since I've been on the York map, but recently got a bit more motivation to get things done. If you do have TikTok, there is a few more updates which have been missed on the YouTube, but yeah, if not, well, that's what this video is for as well. So I've started off where we were on the end of the last video, which is inside Trembling Madness, that is on the Stonegate. It's one of the main streets leading up to the Minster, and it's still got quite a lot of the old buildings left from the 1500s, so it's a bit easier to kind of get on with things. So if we move over to the front and just pop outside, that's the Barley Hall in the distance, and you can see this building here, pretty much the whole corner's done. A few of the bits where it's just outlines are 1700s buildings, I'm still kind of figuring out what goes there. So if we come over towards Petergate and go through this gate here, this nowadays is known as the Minster Gate, or at least the little tiny street is. Back in the 1500s it was one of the three entrances to the Minster precinct. And if we just head towards the east end for now, those houses that are just on our left are the cannon houses, and just coming into view in the distance between the walls is the old St Peter's School, which is now a cafe. And then heading back towards the Minster, you can see just in front of the south transept there's two small buildings. They were bookshops that were there in the 1500s. And then just on the left is the Church of St Michael the Belfry. Still have to do the windows and the interior, but the main structure and everything's laid out. You can also see this row of houses just lining the Minster precinct walls. I've just started to sort of get these done a little bit. The interiors again still need doing. And then just ahead you can see another one of the three entrances to the Minster precinct, and just spin back for the money shop. You've got a few buildings just on the left here as well, which acted as a gatehouse to the gardens. And then this in itself, with a few of the buildings that are still here today, created this nice little courtyard just on our right. And the outlines just in front of us now belong to St Peter's Prison, of which there isn't actually any visual records apart from one sketch, which doesn't really help me that much. And if we keep coming along here, this is originally where I built the Abbey, when everything was on a 90-degree angle, so it was all straight. You can see it just coming into view now, although this chapter house bit is just definitely wrong. And back down this now is one of the main streets leading towards Lendal Bridge nowadays. It's been Blake Street just going off to its left. And I've always been a bit, what's the word? I don't want to delete this bit sooner than I have to, because it just puts this really interesting cross section into the middle of St Mary's Abbey, which I just think looks really cool. You can see I've kind of stopped the street here, and down at the bottom you've got the Hospitium. This is St Olave's Church just at the end of the Abbey grounds, and if we do go all the way past this we will get to the new Abbey that I'm building, which is at the right angle for the entire map. So just coming into view on the right there are the bar walls just before they get to the Multangular Tower, which is one of the old Roman buildings or fortifications still left in York today. These are a lot of the support buildings that you saw these streets going through, with that row of black and white buildings leading to the Hospitium that we just looked at. And this is the new version of the Abbey. This is the main reason why I took 2 years off, because of just the insane angle that all of this is built at. I think it's a diagonal of 4 that then moves across a line. You can just see the angle on the floor patterns here. But it has come a long way in the last couple of weeks. The back left section still has a lot to be desired, but it is getting there. So moving, we'll just ignore that bit. Moving this way, we're just above where the choir pit's going to be. You can see sections of a raised altar with a screen around. And if we come back over here with King's Manor on our right, this is the correctly built sacristy on the side. The chapter house is just below that outlined mark. And looking at King's Manor, I haven't really had a chance to go inside it much. It is owned by the University of York, so a lot of the rooms are closed off to the public. So at the moment I've mainly just got the facade walls along the outside where I know the windows are, the courtyard in the centre, which then leads up over here where it stops, and we're at the furthest point of the Abbey. So I did actually get a comment on one of my TikToks saying please do a like a build guide or a how-to. and I've kind of been debating how I'd go about doing that with such a massive project, but just to kind of give you a bit of idea of my building process. So I'll get a height that I know the window's going to go to, and then I'll maybe do like a little plan in the inside so I can figure out its angle. And with Gothic architecture, you always want to make sure your arches elongate towards the edges. So it's normally best just kind of playing around, start with a drop of 1, then 2, down to 3. You can see it creates that really nice angle. And then as soon as you've done that, just come straight up to the other side, mirror it in the exact same way. If it doesn't line up, just take a little step back, think, okay, this wall maybe comes out just a little bit too much, so we can drop that down. Go straight back up, now it's even with the other side, so mirror it away. And as soon as you've got that done, you've now got the same height on both sides, which means we can get rid of my initial planned archway that I did before the walls were actually built up. And then just come down to the bottom, get the wall sections up until they're meeting with the bottom of the arches, follow that line all the way across. And then as soon as we've got that done, we can pop back to the other side and do the exact same thing again. I haven't really realised we're doing the commentary how long this takes. Just this section has 9 walls, so there's 18 sides to it, and there's 2 sides to the entire section, so that's 36. And that's just the window arches before you take in consideration the walls that we're doing here. So what I'm doing is just popping it up to line the angle I want for the archway, again building it up to the next section, and then bringing it out a few more until the angle looks right. Sometimes it won't and you'll have to add a block here or there, and then just repeat the process until you get all the way to the top. And then yet again, there's, whoops, there, hang on, find my hands, there we go. As soon as we've done that, just mirror it on the other side again, line it up. It probably at this angle won't be identical, but a lot of it gets covered with the windows as soon as they're put in, and then the archways on top of them on the outsides. You'll see that process in just a moment. And then as soon as you're happy with, I've gone one block too far. Yeah, as soon as you're happy with this and it's all the way, simply just cover the gap at the top. And then once that's done, come back, make sure everything looks right when you look at it from a straight angle, and if we're happy with it, move on to the next section. So we'd also want to put just a little lip on the window just to give it a bit more definition. So the way I've found easiest to do that, just get some slabs and then move them up this way, and yet again mirror it on the other side. And this just creates that extra bit of definition for the windows to pop just a bit more out, especially with this weird angle and all the corners sticking out. And once we've done that, we can just fill the gap in, and as soon as it is all filled in, we've now got our window ready to actually have the glass and the support structures on the inside. So one thing about St Mary's Abbey in particular is especially the lower windows on the transepts, at least the nave and the east ends, they don't really match. So you've got on this side, for example, a row of 9, the first window might only have 1 column, the second window will then have 2, and then back to 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. So initially I'm just planning out my line of glass, which wants to be basically 2 full lines just to give the window that little bit of a darker edge when you're looking inside, so it's not overly too clear. And now I'm happy with that, I can just go back over to this side for reference. And annoyingly, this is what a lot of this project is. If it's not researching on the internet and downloading PDF files of university thesis about certain areas of the city and how they used to look, it's just going backwards and forwards in the map, just making sure everything's lined up and ready. So I just saw how many support columns, that window has, so I can now relate to this one. So this will be starting with a 1, which means kind of look at it, I think is that dead centre, and then just double check by coming up. Here it kind of doesn't look like it's in the centre, it's maybe just off, but once you pull back and have a look at it at its full angle, you can see it is actually perfectly straight in the middle. And you follow it up with the second one, so you've got the same definition from the inside as you do out. Just quick double check it lines up. Yep, that looks perfect. So just double check this one more time. Oops. So you can see a bit better the choir pit outline there, which actually goes underneath the central tower as well. Yeah, that definitely lines up right with those. There's no extra details on them as of yet. So we come back and then it's just a case of adding the glass, and this window's done. Actually, you don't really need to see me build this whole window, do you? You probably get the idea. Just make sure you don't miss any bits on the top. And let's just speed this up for you a bit. And there we go. With that is all the window done. So all that's really left to do is just go over the edges with staircases, and that one's done. We can move on to the other 17 in this section. But for now, we'll head back over this way, yet again ignoring the big gap, and just head down the nave towards the Hospitium, as I've been working a little bit on these buildings as well. So the Abbey had a lot of support buildings, including a church, stays for guests, be it whether they were rich or poor. This was one of the poorer ones, and downstairs used to be used for storage and whatnot, things like that. This was a long line of buildings. This one had a water gate which led straight down to the river, so you could access it from the water as well. This one, not really sure as of yet, I need to do a bit more research, and this was the main area for people to stay. So you can see I've just started doing a staircase. That doesn't look quite right. Bear with me one moment. There we go, much better. Where was I? Yes, so this one also, if you head back past a few of the rooms, there is a larger gate here as well. That also was a water gate that led straight down to the river. And as we're here, and I was doing it as a little bit of a build tutorial, I'll just show you my process for building in ceilings and things as well. So you can have a bit of fun with these because the beams are not fast and loosely placed, but they are all uneven. None of them are really the same in this kind of building era. So as long as you border the rooms with this wood, you can kind of do what you want with where you're putting the supporting beams going across the rooms. There we go, so the starting point is done. And just take a minute to think where exactly I want the supporting beam. I think this one I'll probably do something running just off centre. So follow the angle that I'm doing. This one goes 2, 3, 2, 3, because it's a slightly different orientation to the Abbey, which obviously does take its time, a lot longer than just doing a straight line. Miscounted. Yeah, there we go. So I'll just add this last one. And I'm thinking maybe then just putting only on one side, just a bit of wood running along here, and that then just gives this room a little bit of character in the ceiling. Obviously it'll be covered over and then the lights will be put on, and then it's just a case of going around and doing every single other room. So bear with me, I'm just going to get on with that. Editing. Oh, here we are. Overdone trope, yeah, sorry. But I have finished all of it now, and if you look down here you can see all the rooms are laid out around the outsides. It's all a bit random, just here and there. Give each room just a little bit of character and make all the bedrooms different from one another. And then as soon as that's done, all that's really left to do is cover up this with the floor for the first floor, and make sure you leave a good border for these stairs as well, as you don't want to overrun that. I'm pretty sure you don't want to see me lay all these planks, so yet again, 1 second. And there we go. So as soon as this is covered, I can now build the second floor out of the black and white structure that I've got bordering. And obviously I do need to put a few lights down here. Can't really see the wood that I've just placed. It's just, yeah, maybe just line this corridor to give you a good idea. These lights probably won't be staying here. But yeah, you can just see it. And with that, that is pretty much all the progress I've made since I came back on and I stopped doing the Titanic project for a little while. I was getting a bit bored of doing all of that. You can see now that is at least 1/8 of building done over there. Over here you've got a dining hall with a kitchen attached to it, which then fed into this little courtyard here with more support buildings and the herb garden and cloister. This section eventually is going to be the chapter house. And with that, I guess all I really need to say is just a very big thank you to all of you. My TikTok came on in leaps and bounds as well. I've hit my personal goal of 500 followers and 10k likes, so thank you to all those people as well. Why are my eyes closed? There we go. Right, well, with that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.